So our next speaker is Pradeep Gadicherla, Principal Platform Engineer, CA Technologies. Pradeep is a part of the CA internal IT team and is responsible for digital transformation within CA at a global level. He has architected platforms for agile operations and DevOps using CA solutions, which has helped CA achieve nearly 80% efficiency in running operations. So let's hear it for Pradeep.
Good evening. So it's been a pleasure hosting you for the last 2 days. Um, I have with me our VP IT Operations, Uday, in case you have further questions about what we do. But just to talk about CA on CA, or what we do is like we are customer zero. We are the people who kind of look at all the products before it reaches to you, kind of put them to all the stress and testing. And you've been last 2 days you've been kind of hearing a fictitious sure bank, but this I would like to walk you through our organization, which is real, the kind of challenges, um, the way you have seen CA is a product company, but the way we look at it is like an IT company. We are the IT division of CA. We use these products to run our day-to-day business operations. Just to give you what CA is, a different perspective of CA other than the products which you have seen. We are like 14,000 plus employees to who we cater, and we have around 24/7 operations, around 6 IT data centers spread across the globe, including our backend DR site. And we have 10,000 plus servers and desktops, 100,000 plus servers and desktops, which we run on day-to-day basis. And we have a strategy of cloud first. We adopted quite a number of cloud-based solutions off the shelf services, some of the logos out there. And we are pretty much moving many of our services applications onto the cloud. So that's kind of a landscape what we have as a platform, as infrastructure, as applications. And we have given ourselves a kind of a strategy for the last 3 years, and now we are having another 3 years strategy what we are looking at, where we have open systems, not just for the employees, where we are talking about borderless workspace. We are also looking at exposing our R&D cycles, partner with customers like you, how we can look at our development cycles, how we can look at taking your feedback early on into our agile release operations, release cycles, add those features, functionality as we develop. So trials and digital transformations are going in that space. And CA on CA showcase, it's pretty much something like this, where we come forward, showcase our environment, how we have designed our solutions, how we are kind of architected our solutions, how we are driving the efficiency and running our operations. So that's our landscape. Some of the solutions which we have used or implemented within CA. So not every product which CA develops is used, but specific to our use cases, we have kind of utilized some of these products to plan and prioritize. We use extensively Agile, and FlowDoc is internal, where we kind of, it's more of a live interactive collaboration tool. And for our managing and monitoring, we use extensively APM, UIM, and service management tools. So this is pretty much the kind of list of products. But more than this, we want to share this slide where we are talking about the key benefits or value additions which we could get using these products. And this is how we have kind of aligned our products to run our business operations. So one of the key benefit which I would like to highlight is we do a lot of process automation, runbook automation. So an example is we do on a quarterly basis, we do our disaster recovery planning and testing. So typically it's like a 1 week planning, and then it happens over a weekend. Almost like 50 plus engineers sit over the weekend, try to bring down the production network, flip over to the non-prod DR environment, and it's like a 12 to 15 hours of exercise which goes every quarter, and we have completely automated it using our CAIT PAM process automation platform, and it hardly takes 2 hours now, and and just 10-15 engineers over the weekend. So it's all the runbook standard operating procedures are automated and kind of built into workflows. So that's the kind of operational efficiency which we can derive or kind of bring in the value addition. We'll be more than happy to share our journey, the kind of difficulties we faced using these products, how we simplified, how we solved our challenges. We'll be more than happy. We are pretty much active on communities. If you're subscribing to them, you can as well talk to your account directors or salespersons if you want to come down, see our facilities, see our implementations, and we'll be more than happy to share. Any questions? I have my colleague, our VP IT Operations, Global IT Operations as well. If you have any questions on our strategy, on how we implemented our solutions.
So I think just to give you a perspective on, if you can go a couple of slides back, particularly when it comes to our strategy itself. The next one, please. So we've started with, just like many of you did, with creating a borderless workplace, creating a cloud-first strategy, really moving our applications to the cloud. So we're a very heavy Amazon shop, AWS shop, and we are very heavy 365 users. So many of you are doing most likely the same things. And as you're moving from being a very on-prem centric environment to being a cloud consumer, your approach to doing IT has to be different, but the tool has to enable the things that you want to do in that new environment. And I think one of the big things that we've given as product feedback to many of our product teams and have integrated all those features over time are those aspects that enable us as an enterprise to really easily consume the solutions that are being delivered in the cloud using the same tooling and the foundation that we have from CA products. So that's one thing I think Pradeep was mentioning, is if you're in that journey and you want to talk to us or you want to come and spend a day with us or anything in terms of learning from our experiences, and we would like to learn from you too as to what you've learned as you've gone through these sessions. So certainly reach back out to Pradeep or your account director, and we'll set up a session and take you through that. But one of the big journeys that we're going through, if we can go back one more slide, is really, I think, again, it's the same journey for most global corporations today. We are no longer in the mood of building our own data centers, running them, hugging our servers, anything else, except when there's a compliance issue for banks and things like that. So a lot of our services are all cloud first now. So if you look at every tool that we buy today, as the CIO of this organization, I get asked the first question of why are we bringing it in-house? And so literally that's where I think our journey started, to the point where everything that we bring in, whether it's our HR tool, which is SuccessFactors, our sales and support tool, which is salesforce.com, our learning management tool within our enterprise, SumTotal, or even many of the things around, even our website today is now running on Adobe Creative Cloud, which in turn again runs on Amazon Cloud. So basically, we are leveraging the same services that we are asking you to leverage from us. So it's not that we are putting everything hidden away and then talking about the whole cloud transformation strategy. So you can come spend a day with us, learn from us, and also share your best practices with us. We'll open up for any questions that you might have. Fantastic question. I think that's one of the big changes if we go back to the strategy itself. What we talk about open enterprise is enhance our API and security-centric architecture. What that means is that we have solutions today that have business process built around it, right? that are very CA-centric. So if I'm today taking a case that comes from you through a mobile and then transitioning it through a system and then processing it in a support organization, how do I bring that support organization directly to my consumer? By putting an API in front of them. That's how we're leveraging API management. So many of our customers are doing similar things, right? So if you have a very robust loan processing engine, let's assume that, right? Let's assume you're a loan processing company or a bank. You have a robust loan processing engine. All the small banks have to rebuild that. Instead of that, can you sell them that same API for a rupee a processing of a loan through your same risk engine, right? So many enterprises are looking at whatever IP exists within their enterprise, and they are now opening it as APIs that can be leveraged by multiple customers outside, so that it's easier for them to actually, IT is now looking to monetize a lot of the things that they've created in the past. Previously, we were being looked at as cost centers. Now I think majority of the organizations are turning into profit centers, but if not huge profit centers, they're turning into monetization centers, because there's a lot of intellectual property that has existed in the IT organizations that could have been sold to partners, other competing companies and things like that. So we use API management to really bring many of the features to our customers. So one of the groups that's using that is by leveraging mainframe product trials with our customers through an API-based access. So basically, the customer would come in and say, I need access to this feature, and that would automatically come up, and they would download the tool and connect to it and do it and complete it. So whatever we used to do through 10 people and the workflow of everything happening is now being put outside as an API-centric environment. And the second example of how IT itself enabled API, so if you were to take any of your enterprise, typically you have an SAP approval cycle, you have a SuccessFactors, HR guys have their own approval cycle, the hiring guys have their own approval cycle. So instead of asking the user to go through so many different screens for approvals, we are integrating all those with API. So in one mobile app, our users are able to approve HR, finance, everything else. So that could be a very, very simple example of how do you bring all the workflows that exist out in the enterprise into one single screen, so that when a user logs in and says, what are my pending tasks that I need to approve? It simply shows them everything, and you can easily enable that as a first use case in your enterprise using API Management Gateway. And the big thing is security. I think Sumit talked about it, right? In the API management itself, because all these days our concern was, okay, I'll open this API, but how am I going to secure it? How am I going to ensure that the right person has the right role to go approve or reject or whatever? So I think those are the things that are already by default built into the product, and it simplifies it for you. And certainly there is a architect, Satish Chandrasekharan, who can actually share that. If you want, reach out to Pradeep, and he'll be able to organize that.
Yeah, we'll be more than happy to share any of our architectures, our building blocks. We would like to definitely share all of them. And most of these solutions, we have also deployed them on cloud, on AWS platform.
Yeah.
So we'll be more than happy to share those artifacts. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Pradeep. Thanks, Uday. So in the interest of time, without wasting any more time, I would like to call Animesh Sahai for vote of thanks.
And very short vote of thanks are always for a minute or two, but a necessary evil or whatever you call it. So thank you for being here, and I do hope that the concept that as CA we developed, in terms of a skit play and taking you through from what we called as a competitive pressure, ideation, planning, design, execution. So while we worked out for a BFSI customer, but I'm sure that the learnings is something that can be taken for any vertical, whether it is telecom or retail, or is it banking, anything. So I do hope there's a takeaway that you all have from here. And while you all move out, as CA, we all are here. You have the connects with us. Please do reach out to us, and we can take this discussion further. One more point which I want to bring out here, the people who were there on this stage for the skit, they are the people who actually develop these softwares. There are people who write codes, and they're part of what we call as a Rangmanch, right? So thank you very much for coming here and doing this for us. We have not used any external agency except for the defriends that day that we had yesterday evening. Apart from that, everything is in-house, and I do hope that you all liked it. So thank you very much. Appreciate your coming here, and appreciate and looking forward to working with you all together. Thank you.
Thanks, Animesh. So we have arranged for high tea at the same place where we had our lunch today. But before that, one very important thing is I believe you have received the feedback forms. And I request everyone to fill up the feedback form and drop in, at the entrance. And the departure for airport will start at 4:30. So we have ample time to have offline discussions with the speakers. And if there are any queries, please feel free to discuss. Thank you so much for being part of this conference. We are privileged to have you here. Thank you.